Somro midline machines with Kubota Stage 5 engines are equipped with an emissions control device known as a DPF, diesel particulate filter, which requires periodic regeneration, or regen for short. During regeneration, the exhaust gas temperatures increase and burn off any particles that have built up inside the DPF. Soot particles are converted to an inert state and are driven from the DPF during this process. There are two types of regeneration cycles. The first, known as an active regen, takes place while the machine is continuing to operate. The second, known as a parked regen, requires that the machine be parked and no other operations be active during that time period. It is rare that a parked regen should be required unless the active regen process is inhibited multiple times, leading to an excessive amount of buildup in the DPF. On the display, this is the Regen Inhibit icon. Somro recommends letting the engine actively regen whenever possible. If a situation occurs where high exhaust temperatures of the active regen are unacceptable at the time, press this soft key to inhibit active regen. Note, an active regen will also be inhibited if certain machine conditions are not met. Inhibit codes are displayed here. Consult the operator's manual for the reason and how to resolve. This icon appears when a forced parked regen is required. The Force Parked Regen soft key will then be available to initiate a parked regen. This indicates the soot load percentage. Active regen begins when this approaches 100%. This icon indicates high exhaust temperatures because a regen is occurring. It is normal to see this indicator light up as regen happens periodically during normal use. When a regen is active, the engine will not automatically throttle down. If it is desired to manually throttle down during an active regen, use the throttle down rocker switch. A warning will appear showing that throttling down may cancel the active regen. Press OK to acknowledge. If it is still desired to throttle down, press the throttle down switch again within 2 seconds until the RPM is at the desired level. This is the Forced Parked Regen icon. It only appears on the display when a forced parked regen is required. Press this soft key to start a forced parked regen. Since an active regen typically reduces soot loads sufficiently, this function will not always be made available. An active regeneration is likely to occur every 15 to 20 hours. During an active regeneration, the machine can continue to operate normally. There will be no loss of power or functionality. The regen process will take about 15 minutes to complete. During this time, the engine should remain at full throttle. If the machine is shut off before the regen has completed, the regen will be restarted the next time the machine is started and reaches operating temperature. Note that if active regenerations are postponed multiple times, a parked regeneration will become necessary. And if a parked regeneration is not done at this time, the engine could derate and functionality will be limited. This would then require a Kubota technician to resolve the issue. Starting a parked regen. If a parked regen is required, press the Force Regen soft key and let the engine automatically control the regen. The parking icon and read manual image will display. During a parked regen, the majority of the hydraulic functions are locked out. It is not recommended to run any functions during a parked regen. The throttle will be controlled by the engine. Once the exhaust temperature gets hot enough, the high exhaust temperature lamp will turn on. The engine will idle back down when the forced parked regen is completed. Hydraulic functions will become available again. Soot and ash. The display shows the amount of particle buildup as a percentage. This is known as soot load. The soot load percentage will slowly climb during operation and a regeneration will begin when it nears 100%. Keep in mind that regeneration does not fully eliminate all soot buildup in the DPF. When a regen is completed, a small portion of unburned material remains in the DPF. This is what we call ash. It consists of various metallic compounds originating from lubricant additives, trace elements in the fuel, and engine wear and corrosion products. The rate at which the ash builds up depends on machine usage, but when it reaches 100%, the DPF must be cleaned. Before it reaches 100%, you will receive warnings. When ash level reaches 50%, a warning occurs. Press OK to acknowledge. Once OK is pressed, this warning will not reappear. It is recommended to note the engine hours for future reference. When ash level has reached 75%, press OK to acknowledge. Once OK is pressed, this warning will not reappear. Again, it is recommended to note the engine hours for future reference. When ash level has reached 100%, press OK to acknowledge. This warning will now appear every time the machine is powered up. Again, note the engine hours for future reference. The maximum hours before cleaning is 6,000 hours. At 6,000 hours, cleaning must be performed by a Kubota technician. The ash level percentage will be reset at that time.